Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast, episode 728. And it's happened. It's happened. I've been talking about how people need to not be focusing on the Middle East to the point where they're getting violent in the country, you know, not in the Middle East, not even willing to go to the Middle East. They're getting angry and mad in their towns, in their cities, and it's happened. A Jewish man died. His name's Paul Kessler. He passed away yesterday, or I think he passed away last night. So there's conflicting stories as to what actually happened. These are the first photos of him that were released. Andy No got that story. He's a great journalist on Twitter. And this gentleman right here, he passed away. The way that he passed away was he hit his head on the concrete. He just fell backwards and hit his head. Was fine, as fine as he was very injured at the scene, and then succumbed to his injuries when he got brought to the hospital. So, and this was all over just, people having a pro Palestine rally, and other people were having a counter protest. That's it. Somebody bumped into him, someone pushed him, something happened, hit his head, now he's dead. And the thing about it is, and condolences to the family and to the community that's mourning this gentleman. But now, what's going to happen? Let's just get a little quick breakdown here.
When police and paramedics arrived on scene, 69-year-old Paul Kessler was alert but badly injured, suffering from trauma to the back of his head. Later succumbing to his injuries, the coroner says his cause of death was due to a blunt force head injury consistent with a fall, which came after a confrontation with a counter-protester.
Investigators have not ruled out the possibility of a hate crime, and this is being investigated as a homicide.
The deadly incident unfolded Sunday outside Los Angeles when Kessler, who was part of a pro-Israel group, had an encounter with a man taking part in the pro-Palestinian rally.
Victim is an older male, was knocked out at the protest.
How the two became entangled is still under investigation. Before he died, Kessler spoke to investigators.
How much information was the victim able to share with you from the hospital?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that part of the investigation at this time.
Investigators say they are asking for videos like this and witnesses from the group of roughly 100 to step forward.
I just wanted to pause it right there. You know what I always notice with these protests, whether it's George Floyd, Ukraine, or whatever, there's always gentlemen that are like this. You see this gentleman? He's just masked up, glasses, hat, you can't see his face. It's usually, and no offense to white people, I love white people. I do. I got a beautiful white lady downstairs, and a white family because of it. It's fantastic. But they're usually Caucasian, and I don't get it. I saw the same thing when I was covering the George Floyd riots. I saw the same exact thing. A lot of protests were organized by these unknown, unidentifiable people. And I'm not going to jump into any conspiracy bag right now, but it's just, I find that very interesting that it's the same type of guy, like the exact same type of guy. Like, look at that guy. Who is this guy? Is he with law enforcement? Is he an organizer? Anyway, that's what happened with that gentleman. He hit his head and ended up succumbing to the injuries. But here's the thing. I hope that this doesn't turn into a George Floyd situation. Because right now, the Jewish community, obviously, they're going to be like, who did this? We should know who did this. They should have to pay. They should have to go to jail. Now that's going to bring major tensions between, if there wasn't enough already, major tensions between the people who are for Israel and the people who are for Palestine. There's going to be major tension between the two. And it's like, is more violence going to come of this now? This gentleman could become the George Floyd of this situation. And we all know how that went. And we've already seen Palestinian supporters going to the White House, shaking things up there, defiling, vandalizing monuments that should be respected. This is, I've been saying it the whole time since the first video I made about this stuff. It doesn't do, I get it, people want to go out there, but it doesn't do anybody any good for you to be, going to the White House with your pro-Palestine flags, yelling and screaming. Doesn't do any good. And on the Israeli side as well, it doesn't do any good to do it in North America. It really doesn't. It doesn't raise awareness. Everyone's aware. Everyone has Twitter. Everyone has YouTube. There's 80,000 people who subscribe to this channel. There's millions who subscribe to other channels. Everybody knows what's going on. Everyone knows how many hostages there are. Everybody gets it. Everybody knows what's going on in Gaza. Everybody sees it. The news is there. There's people who have feet on the ground, which none of these people are willing to do, just putting it out there. No one holding either flag in North America is willing to go over there and fight or protest or do anything. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Sorry if you're one of those people, but you know it's true. You're not going over there. You're just not. Make any excuse you want. It's just not doing anybody any good. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody does. And you don't have to be out there with a flag. I know I'm not going out to any protests with any kind of flags, but I still feel for the people in these situations. All this does is destabilize. It really does. And I'd hate to be that America first person, but it really does. It just destabilizes things. This is an actual video of when it actually happened on scene.
Stop killing our children now! Stop killing our children now!
As a man is being taken away on an ambulance after being knocked unconscious, after being knocked unconscious. This is the kind of respect these Palestinian protesters are giving.
So that's what happened. That was it. He was taken away, and the next thing you know, he passed away. And now, who else are you going to think did this other than somebody who was pro-Palestine? These two were coming together. I doubt it was someone who was pro-Israel who knocked the other pro-Israel person down to the point where they fell like this and hit their head. It was more than likely a pro-Palestine. And now what? Now what? Now what? You have two Americans, one's dead, and the other's going to jail. It just, man, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You're seeing people doing stuff like this. This is what was happening outside the White House, And just so you know, after he did this, Joe Biden actually announced that he's stopping all aid to Israel, and any money that they received, he actually requested back. No, that didn't happen, because nothing happens when you do stuff like this. You didn't do anything. Everyone screamed, everyone yelled, and you did nothing. All you did was disrespect the country you live in. That's it. If that's what you were looking to do, that's all you did. That's all you're doing with this. You're just disrespecting the country you live in. That's it. Great. Great. I'm telling you, man. I'm tired of seeing it. I was tired of seeing it back when BLM was going on. Tired of seeing it when Ukraine, the whole thing, Ukraine, if you didn't support Ukraine, you were a xenophobic maniac, far right, blah, blah, blah. It's too much. It's way too much. And now somebody's passed away. A good man, I would assume. Probably, it says here, he leaves behind a wife and family. Right? His last days were spent being angry at other people that he didn't know. They were holding flags. He was holding flags. Apparently someone with a microphone is the one that knocked him over. And that's it. And that's it. So I would say to you, ask yourself, if you are one of these people that goes out for Israel or for Palestine, is this the type of thing you want? Is this the type of action that you want on the soil that you're at? Or do you just want to raise awareness towards what's going on? You should think about that as you go out there. And you should not let your emotions get the best of you. There's no need to get violent. The violence is happening in the Middle East. If you want to go over there and ask either side, whatever side you're on, if they're willing to have you, go ahead. I don't think you will. Don't have it happen here. It doesn't need to happen here. Anyways, that's a quick story. Just wanted to let you guys know about that. Subscribe and emails. If you've watched to this point, you should go to my website, IamCoachColin.com. You should put your email into the place where you can put it for updates, because we have something coming. Because I think I'm going to have to start communicating with people directly. So, just putting that out there. I'm out.